Oh, here we are. We are here and in this, dark abyss of a room. In case you're wondering if you're actually watching the video, I care very little about the video quality of these streams. They're more about the audio. That said, um, we're gonna go ahead and just jump right into it. So the first, I've had a couple questions right off the bat that I wanna answer really quick. So we will get to the news about Twitch today. We will get to all of that. So the one question was, are you streaming to multiple platforms? And so the answer to that, and I am going to write the question right now because you're gonna have to bear with me, and I will for visual entertainment, I'll actually show you my typing. I'm actually gonna edit this, and so we are. In case you're just listening, we are modifying a markdown file called QCA, rdbxrob/QCA on GitHub, and it has all the questions in it. It's the document from which I make the YouTube videos, so you can always just search the YouTube videos and find them that way. All right. So are you streaming on multiple platforms? The answer is no, because that's against Twitch terms of service for an affiliate, which I am. Will you ever be partner? Here, let's ask a question about that. Yes. I have not applied for partner really at all. I mean, I considered, I got very close to hitting the submit button a long time ago and I just stopped. And now partner doesn't come unless you are 75 or more average viewers. So, and as you know, I'm not particularly, concerned with that. And maybe I should be, because of the news today. And by the way, on the whole multiple streaming thing, I don't stream to multiple platforms, but I definitely post to YouTube within 24 hours. So I actually, as soon as I finish a video like this one, you will see this video show up at 9:30 tomorrow night on YouTube. And it's the exact same video. And the way I get away with doing that is I have OBS, and OBS has this really cool feature called Start Recording. And you can obviously set it up to do your recording while you're doing OBS, but that's kind of problematic. You run out of disk space really fast, which I've always done. The only time you would ever set it up to automatically do that is if you're going to go out of town and you're IRL streaming and you want to make sure you got backup recordings of your streams, because you definitely want a recording rather than just pushing from Twitch, because pushing from Twitch does double encoding and the quality is crap. The video feed quality right now of my stream is crap, but it's because I'm in a dark room, and I'm, even the Sony that's got great low light handling cannot do it. So I don't mind a little bit of a graininess to protect my eyes at night and do the thing here. I mean, especially since this is just primarily an audio podcast. So yeah, and so will I have a partner? Probably not. I mean, I do intend to apply once I have a really solid average above 75, but I don't feel like bothering Twitch about that until that happens. And if and when that organically happens, then I'll go ahead and apply. But I mean, I don't really feel like I get that much for being partner. The main reason that I would want partner, as I've talked about in 2019 when I started streaming, is the multiple encoding possibilities. So you can change your bit rate, which allows Twitch viewers to do whatever. I mean, they can be in areas that have really, really low, like 320 or whatever, and they can do that, and they can listen to the audio and stuff, and they can switch it up. They can't do that unless you're a partner, or unless you're one of the ones who gets that. And if you're an affiliate, you're just randomly thrown in a pool with a bunch of other people. I don't know if they've changed that. I haven't had anybody complain about not being able to change their bit rate recently, but that to me is the most compelling reason to become partner. That reason itself may not be a reason that Twitch wants to hear, but these days I really don't care. So that's kind of where I'm at. So there's another question here that's going to be the real Twitchy question. Is anyone planning to go on strike from Twitch? And so if you haven't heard, and I, to tell you the truth, have only heard secondhand, you put me on 360 all the time. Yeah. And I think that's probably wise, because most of the content here is spoken until I, do something on screen. And so, yeah, I would, if I were watching me, I would probably be audio only. And and I would not worry about, especially because I've tried from the very beginning to have good sound and to pretty much describe what I'm doing. There was a time where, I mean, you'll recall like the fish streams and stuff, where the channel was more dedicated to community involvement, and it's kind of like an active, fishy driven IRC channel, and it's no longer that. I only stream when I have something to say or do, and that's more in tradition with what I think Twitch likes. Which, if it ever comes to me applying for partner, I think that'll bode well for me when they make the decision. It certainly has increased my average viewers, because people know. I mean, when you stream for 24 hours and you got 10 people, at 4 a.m., that it works against you for that stuff. But that's not really why I changed it. I wanted people to have a higher concentration of content that may be useful. I talk enough as it is, so I figure we do that, and that's also where the YouTube thing came from. All right, so what are the thoughts on anyone planning to go on strike on Twitch? Random X user says, my thought was that it may hurt creators and viewers. So as far as I know, I'm paraphrasing the news, but the news of the day is that Twitch is taking more money away from, ultimately, from content creators, particularly the high-end ones, and just putting it in their pocket because they need more of the money, apparently. And so that's why it's a bit rate, I think, Hamasi. And that is a problem for some streamers. The reason that this doesn't bother me at all is, first of all, my community is small. Secondly, I don't make money from Twitch. I do get money from Twitch, and I appreciate your subs and your bits and all that. But most of the money that I get through a full-time job. And when I deliberately took a full-time job after streaming for a year, and part of the consideration for taking the job was so that I would free up resources and other things, and also renew my skills, which has become very relevant today. I mean, today we had to go through and identify our etcd backups for Kubernetes, and it was a disaster, and I was able to discuss that on stream without giving up company IP, of course, and work to rectify that. That's not something that I would have ever known about had I not gone back to corporate America. So I am not telling any other Twitch streamer what to feel or do or to be angry or not. But for me, the announcement today is completely irrelevant. How much makes for streaming? I make about $400 a month from Twitch at the current rate. And that pays for, I don't mind answering this. I'll put a question here for this. So how much do you make from Twitch? So I'm very open about it. In total, with the GitHub stuff, I get most of my money off GitHub, actually. So the people who do GitHub sponsorships, I really appreciate that. By the way, thank you. I prefer GitHub sponsorships, not to slight Twitch, but because if you do a GitHub sponsorship, I just got a new $20 sponsor, by the way, $20 a month sponsor just like 2 weeks ago or 2 days ago, and I could not thank them enough for that. I mean, when you get a $20 a month sponsor on GitHub, it just, oh my God, it just makes my heart just like so happy. Bellum was one of the ones who I think was doing $50 a month for a while, and that just, I can't overstate. I mean, even if it's only $5, I can't overstate the vote of confidence that is. That really makes me want to keep doing stuff. And can I support myself? No. And that's getting to the next point. So many Twitch streamers that are being affected, and they're particularly vocal I would imagine. I haven't listened to any of them complain so far. There was one. There was a VTuber. What's her name? She's an anime VTuber, and she's so funny. I found out about her because Rob CD, who's a huge IRL streamer, had her on once, and she's just bubbly and fun. Everyone's complaining. There's a lot of people complaining, and I don't disagree. I think that there's many of them that have reason to complain. I don't. That's all I'm saying. I don't, because I'm not big. I'm not big as a streamer, and I'm not. I'm making my money through GitHub. I'm making. Illegal gamblers, yeah, they're probably really hating it. I mean, I imagine, Toad PhD is really pissed. I mean, he gambles all the time on stream. I don't know his effect that I don't care. Lately, I haven't even been watching that much Twitch. As you know, we lost people at work, so I've got more work to do, and I've upped the number of daily hours that I stream. So I've been more focused on what I want to do in my tiny little circle of streamers that I raid, which now includes the Primagian, I'm happy to say. And that actually makes me somewhat emotional, as the Prime and I have been able to sort of patch up our history and just forget about it, move forward, which is fantastic. Can I watch him? No, he's just as crazy as always, and I personally have a hard time watching for a certain amount of time, but he's a great guy, and the stuff that happened was human and everything. So I like our group, and for a long time I was trying to break into the IRL groups, and other than Dr. WD40, which is an absolutely amazing educator and streamer. If you're not following Dr. WD40, who streams by the way usually in the early morning, for some crazy reason, and you need to really follow Dr. W, especially if you're interested in technology or learning how to IRL stream. He's really fascinating. I'd be interested to hear what he has to say about the impact, because I think he is a partner, isn't he? He is a partner. There's a lot of people that are partners. The whole partnership thing is just weird. Yeah, he's a partner. And so anyway, I as I said, I make about 450. Let's say even in a good month I make about 400, 450, and on a bad month I make about 300 from Twitch. But I have to tell you though that pays. So right now my IRL costs, I pay $240 a month for IRL streaming services just to be able to IRL stream for 7 hours a week, because of the cost of Verizon and having Verizon, T-Mobile, and I did not start IRL streaming at that expense until I had established a pretty regular amount of fun money coming in from Twitch. I hope that that's not too affected, because it will affect my ability to stream IRL content, which I am being more picky with. If you haven't noticed, I am not streaming as many sunsets when I go out to do an IRL stream. It's because I'm in Charlotte, or because we're going to go to a race. We're actually going to go to a truck rally, and I think a lot of people will really like that. And we got like a full day of like really, really, really good art museum review coming up on Saturday. And the comments from people are, "Oh my God, this is like, I need to see more real art," and those are things that people have said, and that makes me really happy, because I have a Zettelkasten, and I don't have a blog. I need to eventually, but the time it takes to blog. So, do you have a blog? No. There's rwx.gg, which is really old and outdated, and there is github.com/rwxrob/zet, ZET. And you can go in there and search. I keep my notes there, and I prefer to just publish to GitHub. Eventually I want to make that into a blog. The problem with making that into a blog is, as soon as it hits the web, people have higher expectations. Like if you have a spelling mistake, or and people link to it and things like that. If it's just a bunch of random notes from which you're going to write in a blog or a book or an article, I feel like people are more forgiving. They've even submitted PRs about my spelling errors. And if I ever actually turn that into a blog, hey Tomato, if I ever actually turn that into an actual blog, it will be, and I do intend to, it will be very dynamic and have a link right there to, if you see any problems, go submit a PR on this, right? Because I want to, and I also want it to be a part of the knowledge exchange grid, which is my reinvention of the original World Wide Web. It's just a bunch of markdown files. That's all it is in any platform. And so that's why my blog hasn't been done. Plus I do so much video content these days that the video blog aspect of it kind of covers it, to tell you the truth. Sometimes like I'll do something that's like really long-winded and I need to write it out and want it to maybe go in a book. And there's a bunch of private stuff that I don't write publicly that goes into a handwritten journal, or it goes into a private Git repo of mine. I use bare Git repos for that kind of thing on USB sticks, because I would never trust that stuff anywhere near my network. And so, but I don't write much of that these days. Most of the stuff I do is public. So yeah, for the Twitch thing, so I really don't care, bottom line. And I said something that was, it sounded like I was a little bit triggered earlier. I said, um, Twitch is a company and they're doing what companies do. And we're going through a pretty hard slump right now in the tech sector, and Twitch is definitely in Silicon Valley. And they probably took a huge hit. And, like most of the tech sector in that area, they've been overpaying people. They've been making foolish decisions based on bad budgeting. And all of a sudden, the reaper's coming to roost, and they're like, oh, we got to do something. Well, they either fire people or increase the prices or both. And, there's a restaurant down the street where I ate some Chinese food, and all their prices went up too. So, and frankly, I want to make my price go up. I mean, all of us that are working in tech who didn't get an 8% raise took a huge pay cut because of all this inflation that's going on. And you can blame whoever you want. I don't care about that. And what I'm talking about is that this is what is causing us to be affected, and you have to make an adjustment. So it's perfectly within Twitch's rights to raise the prices. And they're a service, and frankly, the amount of zero cost opportunity that they provide for everyone, this is a term from economics, right? Zero opportunity cost is the reason for the sharing economy. It's the reason that the whole world is blowing up and becoming content creators, and I can become my own television producer essentially, and using, arcane terms there, but I can do things that other people can do because of the zero opportunity cost. And Twitch has made it possible for me not only to make money, but to publish my ideas and what I want to do and the stuff that I used to actually run a business to do for free. I mean, let's be real. Other than my time investment, it's 100% free, and the barrier to entry is relatively low. The number of people I've met has been astronomically good. I literally found a job by meeting somebody in Twitch who said, oh, I got you a job. I got you. And they did. They got me. They got me an interview. I got a job. I changed jobs. I moved from SkillStack right into the corporate sector, and it all came from Twitch. And you people, the people in my community, content creation and influencing, those are things, but there's something that's not getting talked about here. And it's an absolute, pardon the French, fucking miracle, because for the first time in human history, I mean, think about this for a second. For the first time in human history, we are having the opportunity to exchange at a level that we have never encountered before. In fact, it is so amazing that it's kind of breaking society because it's so easy. If there's one thing that's bad about it, it's so easy to create a viral idea. And, there's quotes from V from Vendetta related to this about the power of the word will always be the most powerful thing out there. And, we talked a lot in the Q&A yesterday about Jordan Peterson and Sam Harris and Viktor Frankl and Joseph Campbell. And, for good and bad, by the way, I'm not condoning anything any of them have said. I mean, I'm a huge Joseph Campbell and Sam Harris and Viktor Frankl fan, but I don't believe everything that they say all the time. And my point is that before you had to, dutifully go to the library and read from somebody, and it's somebody who lived before the internet was a thing. And I'm dating myself there, I know, to being able to get a job by randomly tweeting, whatever the fuck I want, including total inebriation on occasion and taping my nipples. Which was so funny. There's no video evidence of that. I think it got clipped though. Anyway, so I mean, and having fun with everybody. I mean, this we live in the future, people. I mean, this is amazing. Nipplegate. I think somebody did. So you heard nipples and you're like, oh, boomers ranting about how awesome the internet is. Okay, yawn until the word nipples comes out of his mouth. Yes, the Sweet Beavers. Okay, I have to say it for the YouTube people. Sweet Beaver is a reference to a random name that was generated from my Docker container during a live beginner boost in 2021. So it's become an ongoing joke. It's not meant to be crass in any way. That just is where that came from. Hey Taco, how you doing? You live 5 minutes in the future. Yes. And so anyway, so those are those answers. or the experience community. So no, I'm not going to strike. I am grateful every day for Twitch. Sometimes I complain about their interface or their API, but then they fix their API. Sometimes I complain about their completely random moderation policies. Sometimes I complain about the fact that, have you seen who's got partner, by the way? Do I need to go? And then they're like, well, we used to get partner out a lot easier, and then now we don't. And then you got like formal educators who can't get partner because they're not, they don't fit Twitch's view of who they want to partner with. Not to mention the fact that they could have made the entire education category, subsidized or something, and they don't. They like just do it for free. And so do I make streams to multiple platforms? Yes. I used to, but you can't do that. I think Twitch has talked about allowing us to do that eventually. I really wish they would, because then I would dual stream to YouTube as well. Actually, I probably wouldn't, because YouTube will turn your stream off if you've got 80s New Wave on. And let me tell you something. YouTube is way behind Twitch in that. So Twitch is actually committed to the OBS source code, a thing that allows you. And I'm gonna put a question about this. How do you stream copyrighted information? How do you stream copyrighted information? Copyrighted music. And whatever your position on copyrighted music, there are a number of people, DJs and otherwise, who regularly stream copyrighted music, but they don't save their VODs. And there's no current method for real-time blocking of streaming that content. So you get, if they, and this is a really controversial thing, because if they actually start to do that, it will annihilate the entire DJ music category, because all of the sampling that they do, 80s Dance Party, all of these, they're going to go away. So meanwhile, Twitch has been fighting the good fight, against the DCMA people, saying, look, we need to rethink this entire paradigm, because the way people do things now, what is broadcasting? Is it 2 people in a stream? Is it 10 people? Is it 1,000 people? How sampled does it have to be to fall into how are we going to write an algorithm for all that? And to be fair, Twitch has been on the forefront of this, trying to figure this out. And YouTube can give a shit. YouTube is like submitting, Metallica copyright takedowns to everybody and all kinds of stuff. They don't care. And they have actively been, because they've been getting sued and stuff, so they've been actively taking off. But meanwhile, Twitch, actually, their technical team committed, you can go look in the OBS, get them resources. The Twitch team committed the code to OBS that prevents track 2 from being saved in a Twitch VOD. So that means that I can do this, which I'm not going to do because I'm recording. So if I'm recording in OBS, I wish they had a way to keep it out of the recording. Oh my God, that would be so awesome. We maybe need to add that. But if you're actually doing a recording like I'm doing right now for YouTube, I cannot turn the music on because it'll be in the stream. But if I am just pushing a VOD, or the VODs don't get muted, or I want to push a VOD over to YouTube, I can, because strangely, you've probably watched YouTube videos of me singing along to music and you can't hear the music. And that's because of Twitch. Twitch added that. So, there's good and give and take with Twitch, right? No other platform has even begun to imagine the concerns of content developers to that level. Hey, Binary Digit, how are you? So, when you start to factor in all of these things, and then you factor in the economy the way it is, then when Twitch announces it's going to raise their prices, you're like, well, yeah, it's probably about time you did. And there's going to be, people who are going to be affected by that. And they're just passing on their expenses, and they should probably pass their expenses on to their communities, because look, everybody's getting hit by the economy problem, right? This isn't necessarily Twitch's fault. It's not. And I am not used to being an apologist for Twitch. God knows that I'm not, right? Especially right before TwitchCon. Why did they do this right before TwitchCon? Why did they make all of this hullabaloo right before TwitchCon? Is it because they want to talk about it at TwitchCon? They could have waited till after the TwitchCon to piss everybody off. But I don't know. I question that business decision personally, but maybe they have a reason. Yeah, it does not make any sense. It's like, Yeah, yeah. I think you know what, Mr. Hurley, that thought had occurred to me just now as soon as I said it. I think that they wanted to get a bunch of press and like, oh, hey, the economy's bad, and Twitch finally had to raise their rates. And by the way, come to TwitchCon and pay $800 to get sniped by every one of your followers. You know, it's I watched TwitchCon in Amsterdam, and it got kind of weird. There's a couple times when some of the snipers like literally followed around their favorite person everywhere they went, and I thought it was kind of cute, but Jake got kind of protective of some of the other IRL streamers. If you didn't watch Amsterdam TwitchCon, it's pretty funny because I mean there's so much that happened at that TwitchCon, especially if you want to do IRL streaming. If you want to be entertained, watch the IRL streamers on multiple screens during TwitchCon, because they're like all covering different areas, and then they end up walking into each other on occasion. Sometimes they walk right past each other, and all the gamer streamers are good too. But it's funny to watch. And they all have different packs, and they like yell about not yell, but they'll give each other shit about what pack is better and stuff and everything. So, and I appreciate what the IRL streamers do. I don't believe that I could ever do it full time. And that's really the other piece of this, is that the people that are up in arms about this. I mean, some of these people, these IRL, most IRL streamers don't make very much money. They don't. It's the gamers, the big, the 20,000 peoples, and they're the ones who make all kind of money. But the smaller IRL streamers, I mean, I can't imagine how Sushi Dragon makes money at all. The Sushi Dragon, I love him. I love watching his stuff and all of his gear and everything. But the amount of money that he's spent on all of that gear and stuff, I mean, most of it's gifted to him, I think. But I don't see how he possibly makes those ends meet. At the Dead Man, how are you? So, have I talked sufficiently? We got to talk for another half an hour. His cost and his rent, I know. I mean, he's in Montana, so his costs are pretty low. But and he's a great guy, and I mean, he's kind of protective about talking about his rig and stuff, like in extreme detail, because I think he's a little bit afraid somebody's going to do it. I think he wants to make money at it. I want to be the world's worst game streamer. I think there's a market for that. Actually. Yeah. I do. People don't necessarily want to see really great gamers. They just want to see people who are entertaining, and everybody has a different view of entertaining. Some people are okay with, a 54-year-old yelling at 9-year-olds in Dota. Most aren't. As my number of viewers during those times is like significantly lower. Old man with no reflexes yells at 9-year-olds in Dota 2. It's not a compelling. I mean, people. I don't know. I mean, streaming's complicated. The one thing I have learned over the last coming up on 3 years is that people, all the streams, it's usually about people. And one of the reasons I really love Twitch is that's what it's about. It's at least half of a conversation. Because you see my face. That's why I think it's so important. I mean, I tried to stream without having a face on stream. It's just ridiculous, because people want to make connections with people, no matter who they are, right? And I think that's a good thing, actually. It makes us better people for that. What do I think about this? Free Windows software by Microsoft to automate tasks created by workflow. I'm going to answer that. I don't think about it, actually. So some of these are really easy to answer. What do you think about this? Power Automate Microsoft, free Windows software by Microsoft to automate tasks by creating a workflow. I don't think about that at all, because I would do any of that in Linux. I would not use Windows for that. That's my short answer to that one. It's what I got out of Twitch for sure. Yeah, connecting to other people. Whether you are a streamer or... are you going to San Diego, Binary Digit? I see your mic on. Do you mind talking about that? Are you there now, or does that mean you just got the ticket? That's super cool that you're there. If you are, you'll have to report back. We'll have to follow you. You are? Oh my God. I didn't realize it was there right now. I'm like kind of behind. I've been doing other stuff like keeping. Oh, you got the ticket to start. Okay. Thank you for that. That's good news. Hey, Twitch, look, we just advertised your Twitch account for you from somebody who's paid money to go. Do you mind me asking how much you paid for that ticket? I'm kind of nervous asking that. It's 800, right? Was it still 800? It was 800 last I checked. I mean, it's conference season, right? So KubeCon's coming up as well. Oh, it was only 300. Oh man, that's nice. Maybe it was the Amsterdam one was higher. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I could be convinced to go to a TwitchCon, actually. Yeah, I could be. I mean, the main reason that I would go to a TwitchCon would be just to meet other Twitch streamers and talk to them about the stream. There is a camaraderie that will even break through the worst of drama with you and another streamer. This is actually one of the reasons I was able to get over my drama with Prime is because there's, and I talked about this when I was really drunk one night. There's video of me like, streaming takes balls, dude. And I was like going off. I apologize for the crassness of that comment, but it does. I mean, when you see Anya or you see Hetana stream, when people stream it, they make an immense sacrifice. And there's something that no matter how weird or how disjointed or how much you disagree with another streamer, after doing it for 2.5 years, there's something that bonds me to other streamers even if I think their content is nothing that I would ever care for. I find it to be, and I'm going to make a false question about this. I'm going to put a question like, what do you think of other streamers? And that's what would compel me to go to TwitchCon. That and meeting, people that are members of my community, obviously. What do you think of other streamers? And, when I first started, I didn't really get this. I was just new. I was kind of like looking down my nose at everybody because like, what is this thing with a bunch of, booby girls and gamers? I didn't really appreciate it the way I do today. Much good advice. So this, by the way, this advice goes for entrepreneurs. So I started my own company and, in 2013, and it's a very lonely place to be. Because there are not many people, including people in your family, who understand the very unique pressure of, frankly, giving birth to a company and the pain and suffering of keeping that thing and raising it and blooding, sweating and bleeding and dumping your retirement money. And so I remember I would go to these other conferences or these meetups where there were other people who were entrepreneurs and you just wanted to hug them. I mean, I would go up to a random stranger who had started their own, private school or had started their own pub or whatever. And you're just instantly bonded to them because they're the only ones who understand what it's like to run your own company and deal with the daily pressure of your entire livelihood collapsing. And I dealt with that pressure for 8 years. That's why I have a little bit extra weight on me. But, so there, they say that, calamity or stress or, adversity bonds people together. And it absolutely doesn't. It's a funny way to say it, but being a streamer is definitely adversity. It definitely is, because all the streamers, I mean, these people are literally putting it all on the line sometimes, just to stick their camera in their face. And I can think you're completely insane, but the fact that you stream carries much more weight today than it ever did with me before. And that's the most rational way I can say that. When I'm more drunk, it probably sounds more fun, but oh man, the streamers are awesome, man. You should try it. Yeah. No, stress breeds innovation. That's a great way to say it. It is really a great way. And as a business owner, you agree, Taco Dog? Do you have any advice for starting a stream? Let me get back to that. So Binary Digit says, I've had friends on here for 2 years who I haven't met yet. I even met my current partner on here, funny enough. You know what? That's not funny. People do that all the time. I met my wife through Plenty of Fish, which is an online thing. And so many people met themselves through Second Life. And now, what is it called? Virtual chat, that's a thing that people are doing. I haven't done any of that yet. There's people who stream that stuff, by the way. Streaming is to stream. I think you should just start. When I started, if you go back and, I lost my video. My battery died, so that's fine. you're not here for the video anyway. So must be time for me to recharge my battery. I know, like, what am I doing with the battery? We only have like 15 minutes more, so you're gonna have to go without a battery, without a camera for now. So, so yeah, I love these comments. The best thing to do to get into streaming is to literally just start streaming. Don't over stress about it. Just start doing it and find something you can stream. If you're not confident with your ability to not dock something about yourself, including your stream tokens, which I must have done like 50 times at this point, then just stream your terminal only. But eventually you get so used to what services are crap and what aren't. You kind of know when to. There's like a whole instinct that you kind of develop over the first year in particular. Like I streamed my credit card while I was went out to a movie, and I the whole number and everything, and I had to call the credit card company, have it canceled immediately, and I got good with that. And then I talked to the agent over at Bank of America actually, and I was like, how do I protect myself from this? He goes, well, we have an app. And so I got the app, and now I know about, I mean, you could write a book on streamer tips, and I've thought about doing this a lot. I always talk about doing it, and then I get doing it, and I'm like, I don't even know what to write about it now, because so much of it's instinctual now. It becomes instinctual. It's why you should take notes while you're doing it. Like, make sure you do this. And I have, but I'd have to go back and put them all into a book. I think that somebody could probably do that, because how to deal with trolls, how to not get banned and then get banned again and then get banned again, Stragger. And, how to, keep yourself safe and your family safe, how to assess the risk of streaming versus, what is your risk tolerance, honestly, and where are you in life? And that's going to really, I mean, some of these streamers who stream controversial stuff, who have young children, I really wonder how they manage that risk tolerance. I could not do that. I mean, it's bad enough putting myself and my very publicly facing wife and stepson in jeopardy by streaming. But I definitely could not do that if I had young kids. There's just no way I would do it. I would stream something else. I would either stream under a pseudonym, or I would be like, never ever. I would do a virtual thing like so many people do. And I would only stream content, or only make YouTube videos, actually, probably. And for those kind of people, I think, yeah, you gotta pick whether you want to do a YouTube thing or you want to do, and with a YouTube thing, you have total control of the situation. Just use voice. Yeah. VTubers, there's male and female VTubers, and they're great. Right. And I mean, particularly if I was a woman, I hate to say it, but if I was an attractive woman in particular, I mean, I hate to say this, I don't mean this to sound chauvinist. I just, the world we live in today is still kind of bad when it comes to, women who make a point of streaming body paint videos, or women or men, frankly. I mean, it should be both, but I don't know why. I just feel statistically like the women are putting themselves more at risk, at least in America. And some of the clothes that they stream, they're deliberately using it to turn those dollars around. And I just, I mean, if you have enough money, I guess you can hire an armed guard to live with you all day, every day. And somebody like Amaranth probably has that, but I don't know that I would ever be willing to do that. I do. It also depends on how controversial you are, but who knows? I mean, people make, and people are people. I also don't want to live my life in fear. Right. And I mean, there's so many things that you could be afraid of. Yeah. Did she have her house burned down? I did not know that. Aside from streaming, I feel like general browsing takes away our emotional connection with the natural world. Oh, absolutely agree with that. I totally agree with that. I do. Of all of the things that we do online, though, I think participating in live streams, even manufactured personas, is better than anything else that we do online. I think blogging is probably the next best thing. And the reason for that is because it's much, much more difficult to dismiss a human being who is talking to you, and you can see their facial expressions, and at least it's it's one-sided. It would be even better. That's why I've been trying to encourage. I didn't tonight, but I try to encourage people on the stage and stuff, because you can hear their voice inflection. You can have a dialogue. You can disagree, and love them or hate them. One of the things that Jordan Peterson says, which I agree with, and there's so much that I disagree with, but one of the things I do agree with is that he says that the reason that Twitter and all these other things fail, which is so ironic because he has failed so miserably on Twitter, is the lack of human connection and the reading of, and I'm a linguist and a language guy, and it's the reading of another person's actions. And when you offend somebody, you see it in their face, and you know to soften what you've said or to rephrase or something like that. We don't have any of that in Twitter, and stuff like that. I mean, it's particularly in the written word. In the old days, I mean, you see, correspondence between people. I've been reading The Innovators still, right? And it's a lot about, Ada would write to Michael Babbage, and they would have these massive, trolling fights in letters that they would write to each other that nobody saw except for them. And they were still very, very articulate. It was kind of like a war of words, and it was respectful, but it was, it was heated. And even back then, they suffered from the same problem because they were just writing. They weren't sitting in front of each other. If they, and then they got really invested in their argument because they were reading their own flowery language and the words and stuff. And you see this in people who debate professionally, and they get so into their ability to debate and to, form rhetoric and create a good argument that they lose the connection with the other person. And then, they're not just talking to the other person. And the reason that I say that I think that streaming services like Twitch have the potential to be some of the best parts of the internet, even though clearly they're not right now, is because you can at least see what one person is saying. I would go so far as to say, I mean, let's take, oh God, what's her name? I'm spacing it right now. She has the Twitch. Oh God, what's her name? I love her. I haven't watched her in a while though. I'm spacing on her name. She's one of she regularly just sits there and talks, and she doesn't really particularly expose a lot of her body. And she has Tourette's. So what's her? God, I cannot remember her name right now. It's like totally spaced. I'm trying to look. Oh, Sweet Anita. Yeah. So Sweet Anita is regularly taking on, yeah, she's amazing. Sweet Anita is regularly taking on taboo topics to the maximum. She's talking about sexuality and I mean, things that other people would just totally shy away from, right? And she just jumps right in. And she has an audience. She has a particular interesting audience, and they engage with her. And she's female, and a lot of her audience is male. Obviously, she's attractive, and she's fun to watch, and she's of course got Tourette's, which just makes it really funny. I mean, and we're not laughing at her, right? The greatest thing about Anita is that she's laughing at herself most of the time. When she has these things happen to her, and she's just really, really self-aware, and that's just made her just tremendously, fun to watch. Toad, I watched Toad for a long time, and I had to turn him off finally. I did. I watched Toad for a long time. I deep down, I like a lot of what Toad is. And I realize where he's coming from. He would not care what I think, of course. And he's extremely intelligent. But I do feel like, I don't know. He crossed the line a couple times for me, that I won't get into. And I just couldn't watch it anymore. I mean, there's been a couple of times I had to turn on, and I'm sure people have had to do that with me before too. And do I judge him entirely based on those times? No. The other thing that Twitch has really taught me, by being a streamer, is that people see you in your worst and your best if you're a true streamer. And so you really have to learn that if you want people to give you the benefit of the doubt and forgive you and move on and grow with you, then you have to do the same thing for other people. And I can't overstate how powerfully I have learned that lesson since I started streaming. Streaming has literally made me a better person. And I know that sounds crass or cliche or whatever, but it really has. We were for a bit. We were talking about Toad PhD. Yeah. And so, and some of you have seen me in 2021. I mean, I don't need to tell you 2019, 2020. I mean, I was yelling at Trump supporters, and I mean, and here I am being accused of defending Jordan Peterson, and it's not because I agree with Jordan Peterson. It's just because I don't know. I want to believe anyway. It's hard to self-assess, but I want to believe that I've changed somewhat, and we need to allow other people to change. And if we're going to progress as a human species, this was a topic pretty much last night as well. It keeps coming back to that, but this is why I think Twitch is uniquely positioned. I got a job off Twitch. People get married off Twitch. People go on 80s dance party, turn their lights on, their twirly lights, their disco lights in their room, and they dance their fucking hearts out in the middle, just to see if they can get on dance on 80s dance party. That is not something that happens anywhere else on the internet. It is a level of connectivity and association and community that does not exist anywhere else on the internet, period. YouTube Live doesn't do it. You know why? YouTube Live doesn't do it because there are communities on YouTube Live that have already developed communities, but you can't develop a community on YouTube because they can't find you. Go try to browse through all the music, right? Or go try to browse through all the coders and see where you can find a live channel. Just try that as an exercise. It's impossible. But in Twitch, and not only that, but in Twitch you can watch, people regularly do. Exactly, discoverability. In Twitch you can do multi-stream, right? And you can watch like 12 people at the same time. It's one of the main reasons I stopped doing music in the background, because I am not kidding. It's actually, you should try it. It's kind of fun. You can find 3 or 4 or 12 tabs, yeah, and you can listen to all of them talking at the same time, and then Chrome crashes, right? You can go through that. And that is unique to Twitch. There's nothing even close to that you can do anywhere else, YouTube or any of the other streaming services. And the idea of you being able to, and then you get, and then you've got 80s Dance Party, which is, 80s Dance Party, which is that sort of thing, but it uses Zoom. And then everybody gets on their Zoom and they dance, and they're like, I don't give a shit. They're just dancing, and they're following Baz Luhrmann's advice from the Sunscreen song in 1986. Hey, thanks for the sub. They're following the advice from the Sunscreen song. They're like, dance, read the directions, even if you have nowhere to do it but in your own living room. That's what they're doing. And that's a Twitch thing. That's a Twitch thing. So the reason that I continue to do it, and I continue to talk it up, and I continue to do it despite the ups and downs of Twitch and the drama and, watching people come and go, which is very hard on me, actually. I mean, it's hard. I mean, when Dennis was gone for a long time, I actually bond with some of these other streamers, and then they disappear like for 3 weeks, and you're like, what happened to them? Did they die? We've had at least 2 or 3 people on the stream that I strongly believe are now dead. And one of them even told us they only had a few months to live because they had COVID and they weren't doing very well, and they were streaming from the hospital and stuff. That was like a while ago. Oh yeah. There's been a lot going on. Some people might actually remember that. He owned his own cybersecurity firm. And he was in really bad health, and his wife had left him, and he actually hacked, according to, we don't know, right? Because he's just telling us on Twitch. Could have been totally made up. But why would you do that? Hey, speaking of, it's cool outside. Is it nice and cool outside? You want to go outside and sit for a while?
Just letting you know, I just took the dog.
Oh, it's nice that my wife's letting me know that it's nice and cool outside. She took the dog to pee. Now you're going to bed?
No, I'm watching the Orville.
You're watching the Orville. Oh, you're stuck. Yeah. My wife cannot put a binge watching session down. is like her one vice. My wife has very, very few vices, and that's one of them. Once she's addicted to plot. So like if you start something in a book, like she read the entire Witcher series in like a week and a half. She ordered all the books. She could not put it down. My camera's not intentionally off. My camera died. I'm so sorry. My camera battery died. It's probably time for me to stop talking now. But this is really fun. I really enjoy it. So it's not intentional. My camera died. When you use the Sony cam, you have to have a permanent battery source, and I don't have enough USB sockets, so I was plugged into my Topeak 20,000 milliamp battery. With plot, that you can see it addicted. She cannot put it down, man. And I think I'm kind of like that, but not so much that I can't fall asleep. I'll fall asleep and I'll pick it up the next day, but not her. No, she can't sleep. But she's like, her eyes get big and she gets all. She's addicted to plot, and she's an artist, so she visualizes everything. And I sometimes I wonder what that's like for her, because she has every single dream she has is in vivid Technicolor. It's just so amazing when I even have a dream that I remember, let alone something like her. Her brain is just so crazy amazing. But in other areas, her brain is completely deficient. She is completely tone deaf. I love her to death, but she knows it. I can't talk soft or she'll get mad at me. She won't get mad. She'll just be embarrassed. When she's in the house all by herself, sometimes she thinks she's alone, and she'll put her headphones in and she'll be like cleaning the bathroom. And, and I'm a big music guy. I'm a big audio, music guy, sound engineer and stuff like that. And played, musician, things like that, choir, all that. And she'll be like cleaning the bathroom or doing something in the kitchen. She'll be cleaning. She'll just be in the zone, and she'll have her She-Ra. She has a playlist called She-Ra. She has a She-Ra playlist, which is pretty much a bunch of, angry, amp you up 90s, music. And she'll just like let it go, man. She'll just like belt it, and she's nowhere close to on tune. She's like nowhere close. She's so far from like the actual melody, but she's happy, and she hates streaming. It's funny because she likes, her favorite thing is Instagram. Here, let me post her stuff. Her favorite thing is Insta stories. Yeah. So Doris, there she goes. The Skeletor mix. Yeah. She yeah, we could like pull her up here. If you want to see her, she absolutely hates being exposed publicly, even though she likes to control her how people are exposed to her, right? She made that cup. The stories, the reels are the really fun things. She'll spend like hours making reels in the morning. There's Katie. This is Katie. She bought her those flowers too, by the way. Yeah, we got to go back into her closing thing. This is the art show that she was in. I made this video for her. Yeah, and then she cut her hair. Her hair's all short now. Anyway, so this is a fun one. Did you guys see this one? Can you hear it? Oh, it sounds off. We got to turn the sound on. Wait. Here we go. I showed this before, but I can't. So, in case you can't see it, my wife, so for the podcast, my wife made this really, really great stencil of her son looking really, really badass. And it's AI, yeah. And there's this filter. This is a piece of art that she made. And so she discovered this AI plugin that will read the facial expressions of anything, a statue, a photo, in this case, a painting, and it will completely perfectly animate the face in the middle of it. It's like such some amazing technology. So she posted this, and then everybody was like going crazy looking at all, everybody was immediately putting it into their art, because people are making the Mona Lisa talk, but she's an artist, and she's got a lot of figures with faces on them. So she started just going crazy with that. It's so fun. It's really, really fun. Yeah. On this note, I think I'm going to go watch an Orville episode with my wife. She's going through it for the first time. I've already watched all of it. And there's Max right there. See? This Max, look at this, man. This guy.
Fuck you, my
I should probably turn that down. It's kind of loud. Here, I'll play it again.
child is completely fine.
Oh my god, it's so loud.
Fuck you, my child is completely fine.
Yeah, dude, he literally took. I mean, he took an entire Lexus engine out of the car on the thing he had by himself. And he called his mom to come help him, because if he did it within like 3 hours, he got the engine for free. And so he was like, he was hurting so bad. You're gonna meet him. We stream him all the time. We're gonna go to a race or something. And the guy is absolutely brilliant too. He's one of these guys who could be anything in life, but he's decided that he just really, really likes it. He's good at it too. He's really good at the mechanical stuff. Anyway, time for me to say goodnight to everybody and to go hang out and watch some reruns with my wife, eat some food that I probably shouldn't, and kind of doze off to sleep. I will be on tomorrow though. And so anybody have a recommendation for your raid? And I will put this video up. This will be up tomorrow morning. It's at 9:30. Tomorrow morning for Coffee Talk, I will be up again. And I don't know any promise, any kind of coherence to what we talk about. Is Nick on? We haven't rated him in a while. Yeah, let's go raid him. And Chris is on too again. It's Chris. Chris seems like she's streaming at night again. She's streaming in the same kind of hours as me, which is great. Yeah, I rated her this morning and yesterday, so we'll skip her today. But Nick One does data science. Yeah. You know what it is, Matt? It's that problem again. Remember I told you how you have to reset the screen? Yeah, I clicked on RAID from the control panel, but the control panel window in my browser has been on all day. And you have to refresh the whole window to get it. I've raided people that weren't there before because of that. So it's good to know. Please give Nick my best. Tell him hi. I'm not going to be able to talk to Nick at all. I'm going to literally raid and leave. I know it's rude, but please mention hello to him for me. And tell him that I went off to do some. He's going to sleep. Yeah. And I got a pretty good big nap here. So, all right, take care, everybody. And bye YouTube as well.